Hey there, comic fans. Troy to the Max Extreme here.
And Ghost Hunter Dave.
And together, we paranormally fight evil as Imperius Rex.
In preparation for our look at the Hellboy movie, I got myself very sunburned.
Very good.
So, we're going to continue with that momentum and just take on Big Red himself.
Yes.
So today we're talking about the brand new 2019 version of Hellboy. Where do we even begin?
Title crawl.
Coming hot off it.
You bet.
Ticket still in hand.
It's probably in a pocket.
Popcorn still in belly.
Just beer.
All right. Then you're on the right track here. What did you think? Wait. No. What did you think? No, wait. Let's say it at the same time.
Are we doing another thumbs up, thumbs down thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
1,
2,
3.
3. Oh! Unprecedented! Oh my god.
Yep.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
That's probably the better than the movie. Okay,
right.
So
we're on the same track here.
I'm glad we are. Because you made it sound like you had a rip-roaring good time when you saw it.
I was pretty drunk when I saw it.
I went in straight off of having a shit day at work, and then I went and saw this. So maybe my enthusiasm was a little lower.
Waning.
A bit. And because I saw all of the previous scores on the internet of various sites saying that it's lower than average.
This movie took a kicking.
Boy, did it. I don't think it deserves that kicking.
I don't think so either. I don't think it's any worse than any number of bad movies out there.
No.
It's not Suicide Squad level bad.
No. I do think, though, that tonally it doesn't fit with the character they're displaying on the screen.
No.
They throw a lot of source material at you.
Oh, yeah. But it's only for the fans.
Only, because I was thinking, there was an old couple in front of me, right? And I'm like, they have no idea what is going on.
No.
Who the fuck is this pink guy?
They name drop Dr. Carp.
Even I was like, I don't know.
You know, from his experiment.
Oh, right. No, but I thought that, like, 20 minutes into this, like, only fans appreciate this movie. And even then, I don't think they're going to like it that much. Because I feel like, okay, so you know the Monet trailer?
Yes.
I feel like that trailer fits this movie pretty good.
It was closer than we all hoped it would be at representing the finished piece.
Yes.
I will take what you said there and agree with it 100% in the fact that it is Hellboy, but, like, visually only.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
So, as someone that loves Hellboy and just really wanted just to see Hellboy on screen, that part of me was satisfied.
Yep.
The diehard comic book fan of Hellboy and all the lore and everything, well, I pushed him down into a pit within myself and didn't let him come out because he would have been kind of complaining about, like, how it doesn't capture the meandering moroseness of all Hellboy stories.
Right.
It was just, like, purely visuals and, like, name-dropping.
Yeah. And with the visuals, I think that David Harbour, I actually really fell into his look fairly quickly. I didn't want to because Ron Perlman is, like, Hellboy in, like, everybody's eyes.
Yep.
But David Harbour clicked very quickly for me as Hellboy.
Yeah, by the end of his first big scene in the wrestling ring, which we'll elaborate on more, I was won over. I thought, like, yeah, he's got the character down. He's still a little whiny.
A little
I
bit.
don't know what it is about Hellboy that makes them really gravitate towards this, like, whiny child figure.
I don't know.
But, he's got a gruffer dad in this one, so I think he
bit.
kicked a bit of that out of him. Kicked some of that sass out. John Hurt was just a pushover.
But I think I liked John Hurt better than Ian McShane as Trevor Broom.
I think he's a better interpretation of the character.
Yes.
But I didn't hate Ian McShane, even though it is not what we've come to think of as Professor Broom.
Right. I agree.
Different take, but it didn't turn me off as much as other things in this.
It just found... Well, the one thing I was really having a hard time getting behind, and every time anything happened that was on the same lines, I was just like, ugh. It's just the aggressive nature of this movie.
Yes.
Like, right off the bat, you have Trevor Broom saying, what the fuck is going on in this time period, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yes.
What do you say that?
Yeah, the first line was like that, where it was like this quick recap of medieval history.
Right.
And yeah, that felt very not Hellboy at all.
And that was
I feel like that was added on way later. Like, we need to get people up to speed. Let's do it hardcore.
Yeah, sure. I could see that. I guess there was like a troubled production with this, but what movie now doesn't have one?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I heard that there was big issues on set, and the director, Neil Marshall, who's made good movies, like he did The Descent, great horror flick, among other things. He did a bunch of Game of Thrones episodes, but I guess he was clashing with the studios. They were like undermining him, and I think he kind of walked off or left the project midway through.
Oh.
And I think it was kind of finished without his final say, from what I heard. And the silliest thing is, like, they were fighting over everything, and one of the ones that I heard was, like, the biggest thing was the symmetricalness of a tree.
What?
The big tree that she comes out of?
Paradigm Hill or whatever that thing is up. Yeah. The tree.
The tree.
Yeah.
The only notable tree in the movie.
All right.
there was big notes back and forth on how that tree should look.
Who cares?
So at that point, you're like, they're just looking for shit to pick a fight about now. So no wonder this kind of had a rocky production.
I guess.
And it shows. It feels like a movie that was assembled by, like, impromptu editors.
Yeah.
Or, like, fixers to try to make something out of.
It also had, like, a breakneck pace, too.
Yeah.
Like, every 5 minutes they had a new boom title card. Boom title card.
Did Civil War start that?
I think it did.
Or Winter Soldier or whatever. Like, I like it normally. And I didn't even hate it in this, but it does not feel like Hellboy. Hellboy should be a very understated, handwritten little thing that's maybe kind of slowly crawling by in the top corner.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing in this is understated.
No,
and I would say that's
the
biggest, like, aesthetic difference between this and the source material.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. With that, I heard a few reviews of it saying that, like, they really were into the beginning, and near the end it kind of lost him. But I didn't feel like the end was any different than the rest of the movie.
Any worse than the beginning?
No, what I was actually shocked is that, like, they do the whole Alice story, like, almost in full in this movie.
Except for my favorite portion of it, which is the corpse.
Oh, well, yeah, they vaguely touch on it. They do the whole thing with the iron tongs and everything.
Yeah.
But then, like, I guess they don't do anything else until she's old. So I guess you're right.
No, I mean, I did... Okay, so if we're talking about some pros, or, like, maybe where it did pull directly from the comics, it kicks off with a Hellboy in Mexico piece that we never anticipated would happen. And, again, it's a very, like, truncated version of it.
Yeah.
And I love how it plays out in the book, because, again, it's very subtle.
Yes.
But I didn't hate what we got.
No, I didn't
all
hate it
things
either.
Considered, like, this movie is a mess. I'm okay with what we got out of that.
Same. It was a kind of a cool cold open.
Yeah, we got to see him, like, on a case, like, which was kind of fun.
Yep.
And it kind of wrecked him a bit because he was a friend of his that he had to kill. The vampire monster is screaming "Camazotz," which is exactly what I wanted him to see. But it was just missing, like, that dread and the cool Aztec temple and the brothers standing in the headlights and all that fun stuff.
Right.
It's just pure, like, in your face action.
Yeah.
From there, we go into another pretty direct reference from the comics where we get into the Wild Hunt.
Yeah.
And Hellboy is loaned out, as he usually is, by Professor Broom to London.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see the heliopathic Brotherhood of Ra and a bunch of notable little Easter eggs around that. And they go out to hunt the giants. The guy's got the dumb-looking deer head, which I love.
Yeah.
And they turn on Hellboy, double-cross him, zap him with their big electric harpoons that they have. And then he wakes up and has to kill a bunch of dragons, exactly like in the comic. And I thought, like, all that was really good.
That actually surprised me, because even though I remember it from the comics, I'm just like, oh, they turned on him. That's
very quickly.
I don't know why that surprised me so much.
You expect the double cross to happen later. It's like, why did they even get him out like amidst Wouldn't it have been easier to turn on him where they're not in danger of being eaten by by giants? Like, he's in their temple, just do it there.
Right, when he's like, okay, here's your horse. And he goes, okay, horse. And they just stab him there. Why not?
So then it kicks into a very hyper-energetic slaughter set to one of my favorite Muse songs, Psycho, which I felt like the CGI was just terrible. I just sat there and, like, kind of laughed and enjoyed myself. And that's what I did throughout this whole thing. Like, anytime that something really irked me, I was just like, we're getting Hellboy, you know?
Look at how much fun I'm having.
I just, like, it felt like something my kids would have made because they love Hellboy. Like, they just didn't have all the resources or the fortitude or the experience at their disposal, and they put their heart into it, and this is what we got.
I did this for you, Dad.
Yes, and I'm like, thanks. I guess. I see what you're going for. I like the song choices.
See, like, the song choices were the things that, like, really threw me off. It's like, that's what reminds me of, like, Suicide Squad syndrome.
Yeah. And I fully agree. I don't think it fit very well, but I like that song.
Right.
When he gets to BPRD headquarters, they have Black Rebel Motorcycles, Devil's Tattoo, which I thought fit better, and I love that song. So I was like, okay, at least the music's alright. Like, it's not like the thrash heavy metal that I was expecting with how, like, in-your-face this movie was. We get a flashback to Hellboy's first appearance on Earth that pretty much recreates that summoning. Except we have Lobster Johnson, where he always should have been, thwarting their plan. And I fucking loved that. Like, I almost stood up in the theater for that. Thomas Hayden Church as Lobster Johnson. He's no Thomas Jane, who I always picture, but I would say he's damn close, and I'm okay with that.
Okay, alright. I did love Lobster Johnson showing up, because for whatever reason I didn't like look at any pre-production of this movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
I just knew that it was coming out, they wanted to make it rated R for whatever reason, and it's gonna be like an in-your-face Hellboy movie. And then, like, I'm just surprised to see all these things pop up, which is the best thing ever.
Yep, and that's how I took this movie. Like, the surprises that I wasn't expecting, like how deep they went was, and even if they didn't always, like, get it right by going that deep, I still appreciate that they tried, you know? So he was great. He burns the claw into Rasputin's head.
Other than that, it was like almost like a shot for shot from the Guillermo del Toro's
just Hellboy. On a smaller budget.
A very much smaller budget.
Yeah. I really liked the Baba Yaga in this.
I was kind of hot and cold with her. I liked that she would do, like, odd things like crab walk backwards and all that kind of stuff. Because all in the books, you only just see her floating in that goblet. Like, sitting in that cup.
Yep. Brewing up a good stew.
And she was very menacing and sinister. I thought the prosthetics on her all the time, wasn't a huge fan of. But maybe just because we've got spoiled before with, like, Del Toro stuff.
Yeah, I felt the same way. At first, I wasn't sure, but it ended up kind of winning me over. And how she, like, we first see her and she, like, crawls out of the pot, and she's got those wooden legs. I was like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I would gravitate towards the Baba Yaga in this. And she has her shot out eye. I don't know why they didn't show that flashback.
I don't know.
In all the flashbacks they showed, like, come on, that one's, like, 2 minutes.
Especially if they're, like, setting up things maybe later in the movie. Well, to see, like, a progression of things with the Baba Yaga.
That's a whole pattern with this, where there's a lot that's going to set up a sequel that we're never going to get. And I'm assuming if the next one is going to be Baba Yaga getting her revenge through another agent, it's probably going to open with that scene of him shooting her eye out.
Maybe. That'll never happen. This box office for opening weekend was the drizzling shits. Nobody went to go see this movie.
No.
Like, even on its, I would say, minuscule budget, at like $50 million, I think it was. Like, I think it only pulled in 15 opening weekend.
If that.
Yeah.
It did nothing.
Shazam!
Open third.
Yeah. It opened third to Shazam winning again.
Yeah.
And then, like, a comedy.
Yep.
And then Hellboy.
Mm-hmm. And Avengers is opening in like 2 weeks. So it is... What a terrible time to put this.
Plus, it's also rated R, so you restrict a good chunk of your audience.
Yeah, I remember they moved this around a couple times. It should have absolutely been either February, the dumping ground, which it kind of deserves to be dumped in, or like October.
Yeah.
Just like Shazam should have been a Christmas movie. I don't know why the hell they opened it now.
I don't know.
Like, it's a full superhero Christmas movie.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a whole other conversation.
Yep. But, no, I liked her weird little thing she did. She's macking on Hellboy.
Yep.
She wants that eye.
Oh, she's jonesing for that eye.
Yes. They
got the chicken leg house.
Oh, God, the chicken leg house was dynamite.
Yes,
and it starts, like, clucking around, and they're getting tossed around inside. We got more out of the chicken leg house than we ever hoped to from the comics.
Yeah, we did.
It was just there. Just for the sake of weirdness.
That's right.
Like, that's what I appreciate this, because they just threw this shit in there.
Yeah, but I think we like it.
Yeah.
But for a mass audience, they'll be like, what the fuck is all this stuff?
Absolutely. It's just one of those weird little things we've been gifted that we will never get again. Yeah, so he gets a team together at this point, which is Alice, who is strangely different than she ever is in the comics. She's way more of a Johann Kroos in this, because she has, like, the ectoplasmic medium powers.
Yeah.
Which I didn't hate that she had, and I kind of get, like, if she had some weird supernatural thing happen to her as a baby, like, maybe that sparked something in her, and that's why she can communicate with the dead.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's fine.
Is she in any BPRD?
No. All she's in is, like, the Wild Hunt stuff in Hellboy. And then we got Ben Daimio? I can never pronounce it. Never know how you're supposed to pronounce it. And he was totally just, like, kind of thrown in to be another, like, a replacement Abe Sapien.
Yeah. Which they should have just had Abe Sapien in this.
Yeah, I could see they didn't want to, like, just redo the other ones. But, yeah, I don't know. This guy, you didn't get much out of him.
No.
And they ruined it, like, his big reveal that he's a were-panther
or
a were-jaguar. Yeah.
Stupid. Mila Jovovich I actually enjoyed for what she was in.
Yeah.
Like, I only really know her from The Fifth Element. And the...
Resident Evil.
Yeah. I love it so much, I can't even think of the title of the movie. Which I've only seen 2 of.
Yeah.
The first one and, like, the 4th one.
She's fine in it.
Yeah,
like, I don't think her character had much to do. They should have gave her some weird tics. Take a couple from the Baba Yaga and give them to her. Yeah. She's just, like, the most generic evil villain.
Well, because she's been in all those Resident Evil movies, I think it, like, puts a bit of, like, a taint on her for me. But I guess she didn't really take a lot of chances in this, I guess.
No.
She played it pretty straight. And for me, I guess I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't do just some fucking weird gobbledygook that didn't really...
I mean, the fact that, like, they piece her together, maybe do more weird Lemmy things. You know, be like Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, you know? Like, she's literally held together by thread. Like, do some weird jangly things.
Sure.
Just something.
Have the pig guy just turn into a wind chime or something.
Yep. So, okay, Graugwatch.
Yeah.
He was great. I thought that.
Yeah, thought he was fine.
I think a lot of it was real, like, prosthetics and stuff.
I think chunks of it were, but a lot of it was CGI. I think mostly the head stuff is CGI. But I want to say a good portion of it looked like an actual guy in a suit.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with his whole performance. And I feel like at the end of it, I just sat there and was like, we got this in a movie?
Yeah, like, I thought that the whole time.
How weird.
It didn't really... It had, I guess, a backstory to it that they show. It's like all tied in with Alice and all that kind of stuff. But even at the same time, I was still like, really? This made it. I know he's like a big crucial part in all the books, so it makes sense, I guess, he's in the movie, but I just never guessed he would be shown to the masses. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, as like one of the top Hellboy villains.
Yeah.
Without fully getting into his backstory.
Right.
You know, we got enough of it, but
right. Yeah,
damn,
exactly.
I wanted to see that corpse appear in the news.
I know!
At midnight.
God.
Missed opportunity. The whole movie should have existed for that one moment. And you make the movie, and it has everything around that moment. You leave out that moment. No wonder the director walked off the set. So as we're winding down, it kind of, we're spoiling it, obviously.
Yeah.
He, you know, as he usually does, he gets the horns and the flaming crown, which looked great, you know.
Yeah,
I thought the look of Hellboy was pretty good once it got into it. I like his hairy back.
Yeah.
Although his head looked way too big to me.
I think it was almost a different sculpt for prosthetics when he had the horns, like the full-on horns, to like his regular garb.
I think even without the full horns, his head looked enormous.
Oh, did
it made him look like he had a minuscule body.
Maybe. Well, I thought he was trying to like build up his top half so he had the tiny legs.
They couldn't fashion the hooves, so they just tried to make him really top heavy.
Yeah. See, that's what I thought they were going for.
Yeah, but we get the full Arthur Excalibur thing in this too.
Yeah.
Which still felt like very much like a afterthought. Like, oh, and throw this in.
Yeah,
like when he gets to the tomb and Merlin comes back to life, I was just like, what is this?
Why are you starting at the end?
Yeah. Like, why are we getting this now? Like, either remove all that and just, like, allude to Excalibur, but don't go, like, full into it in, like, the last third of the movie.
And when when you say full into it,
I mean, they
race through it.
Yes.
In, like, 5 minutes.
But it's extremely integral, because that sword just follows him around. And it appears in various places until he picks it up.
Jesus.
And then he unleashes the apocalypse, which is very different looking creatures than the previous movies and the comics. I don't even know if they're supposed to be the same. Are they supposed to be like the Agdru Jihad or Agdru Hem or whatever?
I didn't pick that up at all.
Because they're not.
No, they are not.
They
are not the 7 who are one.
No. But I did like all the designs. It didn't feel like Hellboy, but I liked what they looked like. But I also felt like every single shot of them we already saw in the trailers.
Yes.
And then, like, they ran out of money and they were gone.
Yeah, they were done.
You got no scope of what they were doing. And then we're back in the church with Hellboy and crew.
Yep.
So I felt like that was kind of a missed opportunity, but I'm sure it was budget restrictions.
Yeah. I suppose it is. But yeah, and then it like almost abruptly ends right there. And it's, if he would have ended with, well, there you go.
That would have been like, we'd give it a pass.
There you go. Yeah, thumbs up.
There you go.
But it didn't. It just kind of ends right there.
Well, it ends with such a, like, trashy, stereotypical, like, team action beat, where I'm sure that was not the original director on that. Like, where they're just
I would hope not.
Slow-mo fighting through a bunch of bad guys in a warehouse.
In the next, like, the mid-credit scene, are you talking about?
Wasn't it? No, it was at the very end, wasn't it, where they find Abe?
That's like a mid-credit scene.
What does the full end then?
It just ends there in the chapel, goes to like the visual credits roll.
Yeah.
And then it jumps into them going to that like
it's
Aquarius.
Like a Brotherhood of Ra type of thing.
Yeah,
or
but they're like
something else.
This House of the Mermaid or whatever it was. I don't fucking remember. Right. I just saw it 10 minutes ago. But yeah, then they go in there and they just kick everyone's ass to kickstart my heart.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god!
Yeah, and they find the standard Abe Sapien.
Yeah. And then it cuts to full-on credits.
Yeah. Yep. As if anyone who doesn't know anything about this knows who Abe Sapien is. And then we get one more post-credit or a mid-credit, where Hellboy is at what graveyard is he in? Is he at someone?
He's at Trevor Broom's.
Okay, Broom.
Oh wait, you know what? I think you are right, because it does end in that warehouse, and then it's the mid credits where he is at the Trevor Broom's.
I know I'm right. You've just had a hard day. I didn't want to pile on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
But before we get to that, Trevor Broom dies again.
Yeah, of course.
And it's very like lacklusterly. The Blood Queen just kills him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just slits his throat and he just falls on the floor.
Yep.
He comes back as an ectoplasm that looks kind of bad.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. That's that. And then we get the post-credit where Hellboy's at his grave, and Lobster Johnson shows up and, like, tells him, keep on it, boy.
Right.
And he walks off, and Hellboy proclaims his love for Lobster Johnson.
Right.
Hard stop.
Yep.
And then they give us one more because, man, they were really counting on a sequel.
I did not stay for this one, to be fully honest.
Well, I painted a pretty vivid picture. It's a one-take shot of Baba Yaga talking to the camera to this, mysterious third party.
Sure.
Saying, like, Hellboy really fucked me over this time. Now I need you to go out there and get him, and then you can finally die. The end. Yep. So it's Kulchi the Deathless, however you pronounce it. No one knows this. I'm sure even, like, Hellboy people don't know this. But, yeah, that's what it's leading up to. Darkness Calls.
Never get it.
Never.
You will never get it.
Yeah, no one will accept the charges on that call. The studio is already screening calls.
Yeah. So.
That was Hellboy.
That was Hellboy.
What a great time.
Handbasket.
Yep. Can we read some listener comments?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me pull them up because I'm unprepared. But you just keep on filling time.
So I want to say the positives of this are, I thought David Harbour was a good Hellboy. Fell into it. I appreciated, but I don't necessarily like everything, that they did stick close to the source material and throw a lot of it in there.
Yep.
Some negative aspects for me, though, was that it went for that really hard R rating for no reason.
No.
It was over-violent.
And badly CGI'd violence, too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we'll fix it later.
It was like, my main complaint with, I also have the Doom Patrol, it just seems like very amateurly written.
Yeah.
Like, just throwing F-bombs in there for funsies.
A middle school production.
Yeah.
A kid that really enjoys this shit, but doesn't quite know how to...
It's like you learn to swear for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
It's like, it's really a turnoff.
Yeah, it is. It's unnecessary, and maybe it's just us in our old age. Maybe as teenagers we wouldn't have even flinched at it. But yeah, I felt the same way. Trevor Broom dropping F-bombs rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the character.
No.
Hellboy every once in a while, sure, but like he's not. He's more of a crap. Like, a goddamn type of guy.
Exactly.
Not a fuck this, fuck you, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's
very off-putting.
It felt so weird. Because like, my kids love Hellboy. And, like, I can't show him this.
Right.
But there's nothing outside of, like, over-the-top violence and over-the-top swearing that isn't watchable for kids in this. It's just, like, it's just a monster adventure story.
Right.
It's
too bad.
So, I asked the audience to chime in on some of their thoughts on it. I'm going to read a few here, select pieces. First one from Jinky123, do a Detective Comics 1000 review instead.
All right. Well, we did do one.
We did. It'll get there. It's just been a packed week. Jude Smith says, ew.
Oh.
All right.
The Wonder from Down Under, Jude Smith.
Cam Chambers, longtime caller. Hellboy 2019 is an irredeemable, unnecessary, messy, ungodly wreck of a movie made even more disappointing by the writer's lack of respect for the source material. Can't wait for 2026 when they attempt to reboot it again starring The Rock.
I half agree with that.
Yes.
I like that they did worship the source material. It's just that tonally it was completely off.
Yeah. This is a movie that I will objectively say is not good. It is objectively not a good movie.
Yes.
But I unabashedly enjoyed a lot of it. Would be how I would put it. Whereas something like Suicide Squad, which I always compare it to because that is another objectively terrible movie that for whatever reason I absolutely hated. Even though I think they're probably pretty similar. Do a couple more here. Mr. Joker Vendetta. Every decision that could have been made was the wrong one. Pacing, writing, casting, editing, directing, all wrong. That being said, it was a lot more enjoyable after a double margarita. Hear, hear.
I could see that.
All right. Let me switch gears here.
Okay.
This is Legend of Beard Gasmatron, or the Gas Matron, as you've dubbed him.
Oh, good old Gas Matron back in his old tricks.
Let's see what he says. I absolutely loved this movie and put it ahead of the Del Toro movies. I feel it was more faithful to the source material and even included multiple short stories, Chained Coffin, Corpse, Hellboy in Mexico, in the overall arc, and bringing the Baba Yaga to life to interact with Hellboy was excellent. Certainly enjoyed some of the changes they made as to Alice with her powers and Lobster Johnson taking out the Nazis. But Ian McShane could never replace John Hurt. Yes, the CGI was weak in certain spots, but let's be real, this wasn't made by Disney. That's for sure. The people complaining about the story clearly haven't read Hellboy. There is not some deep, hidden, abstract meaning like a Grant Morrison book. Seems like a dig. Hellboy is a brutish, hulkish, paranormal investigator, monster hunter who consistently fights for his place in the world and tries to figure out where he stands on the front of good and evil. So...
Good review.
Yeah, and he also says, also the people complaining about not having Ron Perlman or Del Toro for a third movie, where were you guys when Hellboy 2 came to theaters? Because if you cared so much, you would have been there to see it, and there could have been a number 3.
Got him.
I feel like that covers it pretty well.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Yep.
I don't agree. I don't agree completely with everything, but I'm glad you got the other side of the spectrum on that. Very good.
And as the internet has taught us, as long as you're not talking about Captain Marvel, you're allowed to have differing opinions.
Oh my God, I've never been called an SJW cuck more than the last few weeks.
I know.
My God.
Oh, I'm glad we waited it out for the controversy before we released that review.
No kidding.
Wait for everything to die down. Everyone get their bearings.
For a movie that we said was okay.
Yes.
Anyway, that's in the past.
I hope they all loved Hellboy.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's that.
Yep.
You know, that's Hellboy. In the year of Hellboy, HELLYEAR, we got a Hellboy movie.
Yep.
It wasn't what we all expected. Maybe it wasn't what we hoped for.
Right.
But you know what? It was a chance to see Hellboy on the big screen, and we got a lot of great little call-outs and fun moments.
Yep.
And you know what? Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, for sure. So, what did you think of Hellboy? If you did not chime in earlier, let us know in the comments down below. And if you would like to join us on our Patreon, you are more than welcome to do so. Where we have fun little chats a couple times a month. We have a little
podcast
thing going on there.
That's right.
We have
get a couple guest stars to join us on some of that.
But until next time, when we talk more about Hellboy.
Hellboy, it's HELLYEAR. We're going to be a lot more about Hellboy.
Hell yeah! I have been Troy to the Max Extreme.
And I'm Ghost Hunter Dave.
And we are Imperius Rex. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Get the hell out of here.
Imperius Rex. 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 Imperius Rex.
One more thing, a little post-credits scene here. So this is something I was kicking around myself, and I shared it with some internet friends. Maybe I put it on Twitter. Who knows? It's been a long weekend. I think that as the perfect yin to this Hellboy yang that we just got, let me drop a couple words for you.
Okay.
Hellboy. That's one.
Okay.
One. Animated.
Oh.
Netflix original.
Oh.
Limited series.
My goodness.
What do you think of that?
I'd be into it.
Think of that. So, Death, Love, and Robots right now.
Yep.
Making airwaves.
Yep.
Making some waves. Getting some pretty good reception.
Yeah.
Short, unrelated, animated episodes.
Yep.
All by different artists and different styles. Just straight up adapt random Hellboy short stories in that.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Just
eight
episode,
God.
varying lengths. You could have like a 12-minute one. You could have a 20-minute one if you want to expand on something a little longer, like a Crooked Man.
Oh, the
Get crooked.
the Crooked Man.
You started out with something like The Corpse, something that's a pretty good representation of Hellboy, and you adapt that classic Mignola, deep black art style, maybe in the vein of The Amazing Screw-On Head, you know, something that it can be done, but they just don't.
Yeah.
And then after that, you just let animation houses go wild. Just tell do their interpretation of Hellboy. No super chronological story, just like how the short stories are. You just pepper in that universe where maybe you open with Hellboy, maybe you do a old Lobster Johnson tale, like from the 40s.
Mhm.
Maybe you do a Sledgehammer 44, World
Oh,
War II
my.
tale.
Oh,
A
my
Witchfinder, Edward Grey,
God. Oh,
like
don't tease me.
in London in the 1700s.
This isn't even a thing, and I'm getting
I know,
aroused.
I know. And then you sprinkle in like maybe an 8-minute Nature of the Beast back in that Mignola art style. Can you imagine this?
I can,
It
and
would
I
be
love
amazing.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Hollywood? Netflix? Are you listening?
Yes. Take note. That's
Yeah.
how you do it.
Yeah.
Inexpensive and boom, direct adaptation.
Yeah.
Everything's written and you have a wealth to choose from.
Perfect.
And if it goes over well, then maybe you expand into the longer stories. But like, everyone knows the best Hellboy shit are these like fun little one-offs.
Yeah.
Just do something that's all you need to do.
My God.
Just the one-offs.
You've cracked it.
I've done it. Take note.
You've done did it.
So that's it. That's all I got.
See ya.
All right.